Comfort is not your friend. Comfort is the slow knife that carves the strength out of your bones while you smile and call it peace. Nietzsche saw it. He called it the death of the spirit. The will to power, strangled in a warm, padded room. Look around, men wandering half alive. No fire, no hunger, no war in their eyes. Why? Because the modern world has convinced them that comfort is the highest good, that avoiding pain is the ultimate victory, that safety is worth the price of your soul. But here's the truth. Comfort doesn't care about you. It wants you docile. It wants you compliant. It wants you so weak that you don't even realize you've been conquered. And you've been taught to think this is freedom. Nietzsche warned us, life itself is a battlefield of wills. You either rise and impose your will, or you sink into the swamp of the mediocre. Comfort is not neutral. It is an enemy disguised as a gift. Every time you choose the easy path, every time you avoid the hard conversation, every time you refuse to face your fear, you are handing your strength over to it. And what happens to a man who loses his strength? He stops creating. He stops striving. He becomes a consumer of the world, not a shaper of it. His life is reduced to killing time instead of conquering it. This is not just philosophy. This is war psychology. If you want to live as a warrior of the soul, you must hunt comfort like it's an assassin in the dark. You must fight for discomfort, chase it, live inside it. Because only in the struggle do you grow teeth. Only in the fire do you become iron. So today, we go to war with the great poison of our age. And you will either leave here armed with the will to overcome, or you will leave here unchanged, and comfort will keep eating you alive. The snake which cannot cast its skin has to die. Nietzsche didn't mean this as a quaint metaphor. He meant it as a death sentence. For you, for me, for anyone who clings to comfort when life demands transformation. If you do not shed the skin of who you were, the world will shed you from itself. Expansion comfort is a slow-acting poison. It whispers that you've done enough, that you've earned your rest, that the chaos outside can wait. But comfort doesn't just cradle you, it calcifies you. It freezes the self into a brittle shell. And when the storms come, that shell cracks, and there's nothing alive inside. Nietzsche saw this as the betrayal of life's highest law, the will to power, the innate drive in every living thing to grow, to strive, to dominate weakness within and without. In the myths, heroes descend into the underworld, not because they want to, but because staying in the light, in the warmth, would mean withering into irrelevance. Look at your own life. Where have you chosen the soft pillow instead of the iron path? Maybe you've avoided conflict at work, swallowed your truth to keep the peace in your relationships, or numbed yourself with endless distraction. That is the skin you refuse to shed. And every time you do, you die a little, not in body, but in spirit. The modern world rewards comfort, entertainment at your fingertips, food without effort, validation without risk. But Nietzsche warns that is the exact environment where greatness is strangled in its crib. So here is the challenge. Identify the one comfort in your life that is making you weak and kill it. Cold, this week. Trade the couch for the cold air, the empty approval for the hard truth, the avoidance for the confrontation. Because if you don't cast the old skin, you'll rot inside it, and the world will not mourn your decay. The abyss is coming for you. You can wait for it, like prey, or you can meet it head-on like a predator. Nietzsche's warning was clear. He who fights with monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster. But here's the hidden part. Avoiding the fight doesn't save you. It makes you easy prey. The abyss is not just death. It's failure, loss, humiliation, betrayal, the dark side of existence. Most people spend their lives running from it, insulating themselves with comfort and distraction, thinking they can cheat the inevitable. But the abyss doesn't negotiate. If you hide, it comes to your door when you're weakest. Nietzsche understood this. The warrior's path is not to escape suffering, but to confront it early, when you still have strength. In myth, the hero doesn't wait for the dragon to find the village. He seeks the lair. He knows the journey down into the pit is what transforms him. Where is your abyss? Maybe it's the conversation you've been avoiding for years. The truth about your health you pretend isn't there. The ambition you've buried under a pile of excuses. Every day you delay, it grows darker, sharper, hungrier. If you approach it now, you still have the power to shape the terms of the battle. Wait too long, and it will dictate the fight, and you will lose. Find your abyss. Stare into it until your heart rate spikes. Then take the first step toward it today. A phone call, a risk, a confrontation. Something that makes your stomach turn. Because if you don't walk into the darkness willingly, one day you'll all be dragged there screaming, and you will wish you had the strength you wasted on comfort. Comfort is not your friend. It's a slow-acting poison. It robs you of fight, kills your hunger, and lulls you into thinking you're safe. Right until the world proves you wrong. Nietzsche despised the idea of a life without struggle. To him, the strength of a man was measured by the battles he chose to fight. Comfort tricks you into believing you've made it, that you can relax, that the work is done. But here's the truth. The moment you surrender to comfort, you start decaying. Muscles weaken, the mind dulls, and courage dies in silence. History's greatest figures, warriors, thinkers, creators, were all forged in discomfort. They sought difficulty deliberately because they knew the soul rots when untested. Look at your own life. Where have you traded growth for ease, skipped the workout, avoided the hard conversation, settled for good enough because pushing for more hurt too much? Each of those moments isn't just laziness, it's self-betrayal. It's teaching your body and mind that weakness is acceptable. And once that message takes root, it spreads. Burn the cushions. Seek the harder path. Put yourself in situations where failure is possible and pain is guaranteed. Train your body until it aches. Speak truths that could cost you something. Move toward the resistance. Because every day you choose comfort, you re-choosing to become smaller, and the world will have no use for a smaller you. You were not born to hide. You were born to dominate not other people, but yourself. Nietzsche's will to power is the fire that should drive you, yet most men let it burn out before it even ignites. The will to power is not about control for its own sake. It is about the deep, primal urge in all living things to expand, to overcome, to become something greater than they are today. But here's the brutal truth. Comfort strangles that will in its cradle. When you surround yourself with convenience, when every challenge is avoided, you betray the very essence of life. Nietzsche saw the will to power as the ultimate expression of existence. The push to climb higher, to risk everything for the sake of becoming. Without it, you are not living. You are merely surviving. Ask yourself, when was the last time you deliberately chose the harder road? Not because you had to, but because it would forge you into someone stronger. Too many men are living in quiet submission to the easiest option, telling themselves they deserve a break while their potential rots in the corner. Every time you pick the soft way, you are killing the warrior inside you. Reclaim your will to power. Pick one area of your life where you've gone soft and attack it relentlessly. If you're weak, lift until your hands bleed. If you're timid, speak until your voice shakes. If you're lost, walk into the storm until you find your direction. Because the will to power is not given to you. It is taken by force, by pain, by choosing the climb when everyone else chooses the couch. Most people don't even realize they're chained. And worse, they love the chains. Nietzsche called it slave morality, the mindset that glorifies weakness, obedience, and resentment while despising strength, ambition, and greatness. Slave morality is the poison drip-fed into the veins of society. It tells you to stay small, be nice, avoid offending anyone. It praises the meek and demonizes the strong. It turns strength into arrogance, ambition into greed, and power into evil. Nietzsche despised this inversion of values because it suffocates the human spirit. It convinces you that it is virtuous to settle for less than what you are capable of. Comfort feeds it. Fear sustains it. And here's the worst part. Slave morality does not need to lock you in a cell. It only needs to convince you that freedom is dangerous. Look around. The safest lives are often the most miserable. The man who refuses to take risks becomes bitter. The woman who fears offending anyone becomes invisible. Entire cultures can collapse into mediocrity because they convince themselves that to be strong is to be evil. If you want to escape this, you must be willing to be seen as too much, too loud, too confident, too ambitious. Better that than being another nameless shadow. You have two choices. Live like a slave or live like a creator. Every day you choose the first, you're digging your own grave. Kill the slave morality before it kills you. Reject the chains, not politely, but violently. Shatter the comfort. Offend the timid. Stand for something worth being hated for. Because the free man is dangerous. And the dangerous man is the only one who truly lives. You've heard the warning. You've walked through the fire of these 5 truths. And now, there's no going back. Nietzsche wasn't offering you a cozy philosophy. He was handing you a sword and daring you to carry it into the chaos. Comfort is not your friend. It is the silent predator that waits until you are soft. Then it devours you. The world doesn't need another agreeable, harmless ghost wandering through life half asleep. It needs men and women who are willing to confront the abyss and laugh back at it. That means no more excuses. No more surrender to the dead weight of the familiar. Tear down the walls you've built around yourself. Become dangerous again. Speak with force. Move with intent. Live in a way that would terrify the version of you who still clung to safety. Because if you keep worshiping comfort, you'll die long before they bury you. But if you burn it to the ground, you'll finally become what you were meant to be. Unbreakable, unstoppable, alive. Subscribe to Inner Citadel Project and comment the one comfort you're willing to kill today.